morning. You know, this could have been timed a little bit better. I really wish you had launched this thing while I was making Lakshmi. One of the toughest things that I encountered when I was making the film is there is no available information on anything, anywhere. So we were pulling statistics, and we all know that 90% of the internet is manufactured. You know, it's very hard to sift fact from fiction. So half the stuff that I was getting, it was all, I wasn't sure if I could correlate the data to anything. So it's awesome that finally there is an online resource where people can actually go to get information or at least be pointed in the right direction. So thank you for that. There are two things that I want to touch upon briefly, but before I do that, two things that I need to say about Ms. Chawla here. You can just say stuff about me and me not... yeah, exactly. Pay you back in some form. One, she is a ridiculously underrated actress. It's that same self-deprecation that people, when they talk about her, they say, "Oh, she's a happy, bubbly actress." That's what I heard all the time. And I really think it does her a talented disservice because in all my years of working in the field and so many films, I have met very few inherently honest actors, and hands down Juhi is one of them. So let me first point that out. And the second thing, I think what is easily evident when you spend 5 minutes with her is you realize what you see is what you get. Whatever she spoke here is pretty much what she is. There's not a game face that actors have and, oh, the real person, or she's like a super bitch, or something like that. What you see is what you get. She's the same simple, honest person that spoke here that you will encounter if you go to a place. So, anyways, enough about you, Juhi. Now let me get to the main issue at hand. One of the things that I've encountered as the biggest impediment when I started down this rather precarious journey by accident is the way India deals with sex. The problem is, and I'm not even touching the issue of child abuse, I'll get to that in a brief second. The problem is, it is such a dirty word. All of us are raised this way. I see mothers, fathers. Sex is the one word that will not be uttered easily, will not be discussed. Even as I speak, I can see everyone just kind of shrivel up and get uncomfortable. I think it's hiding this stuff in the closet for so long, which is the root of a lot of the problems. I really wish that in our schools, in our families, in our homes, for crying out loud, being one of the most populous countries in the world, we should be able to talk more freely about this. I think it would eliminate a lot of taboo, make the children a whole lot smarter, give them the same tools that Juhi was saying that, would alert them to the possibility of what is right and what is wrong. And it's funny, when I deal with a subject like Lakshmi, I'm lauded. Or people say, hey, that's a noble thing. But if I were to ever deal with sex, then they'll say, oh, what a scumbag. He wants to do something that's titillating and wrong and stuff like that. So I really hope to tackle this topic in one of my future films, because I really think that issue needs to be addressed. On to how I ended up with Prerna was exactly the way my eyes opened to this whole topic of child abuse. I was just, one of these casual invitations. I was asked to come and visit a rescue shelter in a small coastal town in Andhra Pradesh. So I had a little free time on my hands. I went down there. There's this man who runs a small shelter out of his parents' home. And I spent 2 amazing days there. And what happened in those 2 days literally changed my life. I got to meet so many of these women, and here's where I tip my hat to them, because after suffering the kind of emotional, mental, and physical abuse, they were actually able to stand in front of me and have a normal conversation. I mean, we have no idea, probably someone like Preeti and Praveen do, but how lucky most of us are as we sit in our ivory towers and make judgment calls. Just listening to these stories that these women told me, I was moved to such a point that I said I needed to do something about it. Then I had the good fortune to meet this amazing girl who was the first person who took her traffickers to court. She was sold into prostitution, but after she was rescued, single-handedly she had the courage to keep going to court time and again, and you've been through this whole process, and actually stand up there and tell a story. I mean, that requires courage that you and I really cannot imagine. So that was the genesis for Lakshmi. And through that process, I have actually become a changed person, because I cannot fathom this whole concept of child abuse. As an adult, we all have choices. Sometimes those choices are taken away from us. But still, as an adult, we have some set of tools equipped to deal with this. I'm horrified at the fact that when there is a child and when they really don't have a choice, that people subject them to this kind of cruelty. I keep harping on Lakshmi. It's not to sell my film, because the film was released and it ran for a whole week in India. Oh my God. So, I mean, we did horrible numbers at the box office. Not to say that it was surprising, but we've done a whole bunch of festivals abroad, and each time I interact with an audience that's seen the film, there are only one of two ways they come away. One is they're horrified but motivated, and the second is they're disgusted and want to have nothing to do with the subject. And both these reactions are good with me, because something as horrific as child abuse cannot be dealt with in a nice sugar-coated manner where people deal with it and go back home. It's something that people need to be alerted to, and we need to do something to fix it. So once again, hats off to the two of you all and Prerna. And thank you, Aram, for actually getting this started, because this is a powerful tool. And I think if more educated people, at least at the starting point, get alerted to information and stuff that they can have easily, I think we can keep moving forward and eradicate, no, but at least soften and lessen the problem. So thank you guys, and I'm very happy to be here.
Mrs. Farida Lambe retired as a vice principal.